Hello everyone, and welcome to a complete guide on the Sprinter Conquest. If you're looking for tips on builds, what events to complete, like who to talk to, this is probably the wrong guide for you because builds are a dime a dozen on the internet. Guides on who to click and when are a dime a dozen on the internet. What this guide is going to do is show you tile sets, show you glitches, show you game-breaking bugs, and everything else that is the compilation of my knowledge for doing the Sprinter Conquest probably over 200 to 250 times throughout my Diablo 3 journey. So there's a lot of information to go over. I am just going to jump right in because there's a lot. This run normally would take about 45-ish minutes, but I'm going to slow it down because I want to show you as much as I can. So things like this, there's nothing to really say, like, oh, you need to talk with Captain Rumford. This is not what the Sprinter Guide is going to cover. Instead, I'm going to show you useful stuff that you won't find anywhere else. And of course, this information is still incomplete. People find new things all the time. But most of my knowledge comes from myself. There are some things that people have taught me over time, including the world record holder that I'm aware of. So you won't probably find this kind of information on any guides. For the majority of the game, there's not too much to say, so I'll just kind of keep it low-key here and say that a lot of this is just memorization, know who to click, know how many times to hit the spacebar button, things like that. But when we're going to get into the fun stuff is where the glitches can occur. And tiling patterns. So right up here, we're going to enter Cathedral Level 1, which is the first tile set that's kind of random in the game. So you'll always start on this tile, and you want to look for a tile that kind of separates out. Let me see if I can do this properly. Here we go. So most of the tiles have like a T-junction or a T-junction, or they exit somewhere. You want to try and, of course, go as straight as possible since you're always dashing. You can always backtrack once you know the map layout, but try and look for the exits that are going to be near the end of this kind of line. So, just trying to get used to my hotkeys for a second. On this type of tile, down right is more commonly the exit, but since this is a down left tile, I'm just going to keep on going down left until it hits a curve. And at this point, I pretty much know that the exit is going to be, let me see, there it is. The exit is going to be either right here or right here, and that's because this tile has to get some sort of plus. When you're in a plus formation, go one tile off. And if it's not that tile, backtrack immediately and go for the next tile. So I'm going to go here. If it's not there, I'm going to go here. And the reason why is because very frequently when you get this plus tile, it's always one square off of the plus. So, quickly go into the plus. Aha, this one's just a down right tile, so it's not the plus. So that makes this trivial to get. And let me see if I hit the first bug of the game. I don't know if I did. Okay, maybe I did. If you can kill all 4 skeletons before Cain has his trigger, Cain will not activate. There we go, I hit it. So this is the very first game-ending bug. So when you enter into this area, you have a short period of time where you can perform movement techniques such as a Demon Hunter's Vault or a Monk's Dashing Strike. These skeletons physically have to be hitting Cain, and Cain has to hit a trigger. If you can kill the skeletons before that trigger activates, it hard locks the game and you need to reset. So I'm going to be showing a number of game-breaking bugs just like that. So I did not mention it because right as I was clicking it, I realized, oh, that's right, that's the first bug I wanted to demonstrate. So do not kill those skeletons when entering the room. I think there's a total of 7 to 9 game-ending bugs, if I'm not mistaken, that I am aware of. So, let's see. And of course, I'm still using a combination of builds. Go one tile off, go one tile off, go one tile off. Okay, since it's neither of these, the most common scenario is it goes around a bend, and then it always exits the square. So in this case, since this kind of a square formation, this tile is never the exit, so it would have to go up to the right here. or it would have to exit the square this way. Since I'm already exiting this square, keep on going in this direction, and if it's not, this tile never goes up left, so it has to be the other exit, and this should be it right here. Let's see. Oh, that's right. This was the square. This was the square, and we actually are supposed to come from here, but because I loaded into the game, I'm not familiar with that. The correct way to go is actually right where this was. So let's not kill the skeletons this time. I apologize about that. It's not often I get to restart, because normally I'd have to exit the game and start from scratch, so I'm not familiar with waypoints. And now Cain has his trigger, because I did not kill the skeletons initially. So, game-breaking bug number 1, do not kill those skeletons as you enter the room. Talk with Leah, I think I'll talk with Cain next, and then talk over with Hadrig. Here, the zombies spawn in turn. So you have to get the bottom left, then the middle, then the top right, and then the further top right. So if you just go all the way to the back, these guys aren't going to spawn. And notice I can stay here for a while, they're not going to spawn. So you have to kill some guys, go forward, and then come back, and then go forward. And that's why I often hope for a Wreath of Lightning proc. If Wreath procs, then it will essentially kill any zombies that are still around. And if Wreath doesn't proc, then that's why we have things like Sweeping Winds to do area damage. So that this way you can still kill monsters, even if you don't know exactly where they are. In this area, I tend to, if I hold straight up, hit a lot of bad stuff, like right here. I can't hold straight up. And then if I try moving to the side, and then I hold straight up again, I could get a little bit caught out. So typically what I do when I run in this area is once I come out of this gate, I'll actually move my mouse left and right and kind of do this zigzag. And what that does is that avoids any potential mishaps on some of the larger stones that you can't dash across. There's events on any tiles that are incorrect. So I think this is, okay, yeah. So if you hit an event, let me just show you, the other one's going to be Jar of Souls. It's always a 4 square. And of course, some of this information you can find online. If you search hard enough, you will be able to find some documentation. There's information such as, well, certain unique NPCs only spawn in certain crypts. So if you hit a unique NPC that you know is the wrong crypt, the problem with that is it's so rare to hit that NPC. I think it's like a 1 in 50 chance. So you'd have to really dig deep to say, okay, which NPCs are in which incorrect crypts. This is the Jar of Souls event, and it's always the wrong tile. So if you hit Jar of Souls, then you know you're in the wrong crypt. There's another one with, it's not in this game, but there will be a ghost of, I believe, a mother. And if you hit that ghost exclamation mark or event, then you know it's the wrong one. The correct one never has any events in there. So if you hit an event, you know it's the wrong crypt. And here, what I tend to do is after I click, I want to be able to go back to town, so I'll kill everything. If you're using, like I am, Molten Wildebeest Gizzard, that gives you an Absorb Shield. You don't have to kill everything. And some people might use homing pads. They could just go back to town and not have to worry about getting interrupted. So there's some techniques you can use to speed it up. But just because I've got, 5 seconds between clicking the orb and coming back, I will just go ahead and kill everything in the area. Now, if you're playing in a party, there's going to be some party techniques, like one person can already be waiting at this door. A second person can already be at the blacksmith, ready to talk to him, and the third person can be getting the crucible, or the orb, I forget what it's called. So you can have 3 people doing something simultaneously. In Cathedral Level 2, there's always going to be a tile that aims to the top right, and then has this kind of curve. And it has, let me see if I get this right, it has like 2 gates, so you have to go between the gates to the exit. So you're always looking to go up right in Cathedral Level 2 to get to the correct square. So typically in this situation I could go down, but up there's a higher possibility since I'm trying to aim up right. And this is the tile. So once you hit this tile, it's just you go up left, up right, and there you go. Cathedral 3 is mostly a static map. You don't have to talk with the Templar. Notice that I don't even know if I killed everything. I could just dash past and then collect the warrior stolen items. There is a game-breaking bug here, but I have not hit it at all this season. Sometimes when opening up the treasure chest, the Templar does not spawn, and then you cannot proceed because when you do try and get to this area right here, there's no Templar to break these barbed wires. And you come back here and you already opened the treasure chest. So I have not gotten that bug this season, and I don't know how to reproduce it. But note that is game-breaking bug number 2. Templar could fail to spawn, and so sometimes I might dash back and forth and do something to try and stall for time and spam spacebar to skip whatever dialogues I can. Cathedral 4 is one of the first tiles where we're going to talk about a giant square. So it's going to be a 3x3 square with a possible tile in the center. I don't know if I can kind of mimic that here. It could spawn where you have the exit on the bottom, or it could spawn where you have the exit in the middle or the top, one of these three. When you hit this square, the correct place to go is always, well, there's the rare possibility that the center tile is it. It's rare because there's many other possibilities, but you always want to exit the square. It's always going to be on the outside of the square. So once you know what the square pattern is, try and look for ways to get out, or in the rare case, get into that square. So let's show you the square first. So this is the square. It's going to be, if I draw this correctly, and that's one reason why I chose Sweeping Winds for this build, is so I can kind of stand here and not die. This is how the square is somewhat going to look. So since I'm already aiming up left, I want to continue up left just to keep momentum. And I'm going to look for any exits along the left side and then exits on the top side. And if I see something going to the center, great, I'm going to take it. But we just started this right at this corner. So I know that no matter which way I go, it's just going to lead further into this square. So keep going up left. And this tile can go mid-right, so let's see. And this is now going into the square. Looks like this, and now you've got this path. So this center was not it. I'm going to continue to look for exits along the side. And hopefully I can get my hotkeys right. This exit's going down, so I'm going to try down here. And now, since we've exited, that's not the right tile. Go to up left. No, it doesn't up left. Up left or up right. This one can continue upright, and this is not really promising because it's a tile that doesn't usually aim into like a double tile to go upright. So the rest of this, there's just up right and then down left or down right. So let's finish it out. And this is going toward the entrance, so I know it has to be down right. It's right here. See, exiting that square to know exactly where the possibility is of the correct place to go. So in that case, if you're going very, very quickly, you know, okay, it could only be these 2 possible tiles. And that significantly cuts down on the time that it requires you to search for those tiles. Yes, I have been able to dashing strike all the way to this door, but you can't dash past it. It's locked before the event starts. So I've been able to get like 5 dashing strikes in to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I stop right here because this is hard locked. Here's enough time where usually I have to turn my screen brightness up. I always forget to do that on Act 2, so I'll do it right here as the Skeleton King spawns. Not much to say here. If you're really accurate, you could do this dash, but usually I kind of get stuck here, so I go around the side and do it that way. So just know you can dash that way. Spam spacebar. This doesn't open until you hit the event. And just double click, because the waypoint and new Tristram are right there. Then after you do these 2 townspeople at the cemetery, and now we're going into the Khazra Den. So here is where I wanted to start showing some resources that I've found online. You can see it has pictures such as Act 1, certain things about where the crypts spawn, but not a lot of information about, well, what about the square tile in Cathedral 2? What about, or the Cathedral 4? What about the kind of upright tile on Cathedral Number 2, this is where you enter. So Cathedral 2 is that upright tile, doesn't really show you anything. Likewise, I found a full sprinter guide. It still doesn't show you anything about the Cathedral 1, 2, or 4. So these guides are missing a lot, but they do have some useful stuff. For example, the Cosmodem has 4 spawn points. So you're going to come to the bottom left, and then go straight up, and then kind of diagonally, and then straight up again. You can kind of memorize this map. And I believe it's also in this guide. Yeah, if you have 2 people running, one person looks to the left, one person looks to the right. So you can find good resources to kind of locate. Okay, well that's the Cosmodem, and then the other one is kind of up leftish. Be right about here. Yeah, it would be this brief right here, and then this waypoint would be the last one. So for some reason, you know, I'm running this, and you might see some of my previous videos where I'm going to the bottom left. I mistake that. That's Act 2. The ruins can spawn on the bottom left. And then the up right, same thing. Ruins can spawn there. So I kind of mixed up my 2 maps. Here is game-breaking bug number 3. I'm going to try and hit it, but I don't know if I can. So if I don't know what the trigger is, it doesn't seem to be very consistent. I know I've opened the chest many times when this bug has occurred. Okay, I did not hit it. Yeah, it's usually a bloody chest, so that being a regular chest. But what happens, and I don't know the trigger, is you can kill all of the enemies, and Magna doesn't leave, and the glowing sword shard does not spawn. I have not been able to deduce that trigger. If somebody does know the trigger, you know, you can comment, you can message me somehow in game just to let me know, okay, that is how you cause the bug, and therefore what you do to avoid it is, you know, the opposite. So I wasn't able to hit that game-breaking bug, but that's game-ending bug number 3, is Cosmodem trigger gets missed. Next is going to be the Scoundrel. So this part is just nitpicky. I don't know how the Scoundrel picks his rate of speed in this next area. So I don't know. No, I can't zoom the map. But the map goes like a zigzag like this, and then you have the waypoint right here, and then Alaric having kind of his thing right here. So depending on how you can hit this part, sometimes the Scoundrel will warp right to you right here, and that's exactly where he needs to be. Other times he's actually physically going to walk the whole way, and that's just nitpicky. So it's probably details that aren't necessary to, you know, get an optimal time for. But somehow there is a way to make the Scoundrel go faster. So right here, see how he spawns right here? Sometimes he'll walk the whole way. And my guess is that when there's multiple people in the game, say I'm not the only runner, there's a second runner beside me, and they are back with the Scoundrel. If I dash forward, but the Scoundrel is not attached to me and is instead attached to my teammate, it's possible that's the reason why they make the Scoundrel walk the long way around. So again, coming back to the guides here, you're going to see, let me see, this guide doesn't have it. This one looks like it does. There's going to be 3 spawns left and right side, so you can kind of memorize where they kind of spawn. I found that these central objects are so hard to dash around that I always get locked up. That's just something I need to personally learn better. And then this is where Molten Willoughby's Gizzard, where is it, comes into handy. If you have an Absorb Shield, or if you have homing pads, or a follower that has homing pads, you can just grab this and instantly teleport back. This takes about 3 seconds to, you know, teleport, and then about 2 seconds to click the Drowned Temple. So if you can make it back here in 5 seconds, exiting this and then coming back here, great. But I usually take about 6 to 7 seconds, and so for consistency, I'll just go back to town. So no game-ending bugs for a little bit. I've never tried. Oh, there's one thing I want to mention here. If you'll notice, I've got Sweeping Winds active. It will start saying immune on Alaric. If I go up to Alaric right here, immune, immune. You can see immune. That's a game-breaking bug I want to show you in Act 5. but I've only hit it once ever, and so the point is NPCs like that are supposed to be immune to damage. They're not supposed to be capable of being targeted. I have hit a bug in Act 5 where I was able to target an NPC and kill it, and therefore I couldn't talk to it because it's dead. You can imagine being in Act 5 and brick the run because you killed an NPC. So yeah, that kind of stuff happens. Wortham next. So again, not much to say here. Static maps, and what I mean by static maps is you can memorize them. In the event that tool assistance ever comes to Diablo 3, which I don't imagine it does because this game is hard-coded to be online only, but if you can make it offline and you can, prefab the maps and stuff and do tool assistance, then any map that's classified as a static map, one thing here, if you click New Tristram without the portal, you have to port. So click the portal, then click New Tristram, it's instant. Nitpicky. What was I saying? Is static maps. So with static maps, you can logistically make a tool assistance to say, as soon as I enter the map, press these keys at these exact times in these exact locations, and it will play it out perfectly for you. But since that's against the terms of service and there's no way to make Diablo 3 go online, or offline only, then until we see that possibility, you're not going to be able to tool assist this, which means just memorize the maps. So there is that dash right there. Demon Hunters can't do it, Wizards and Monks can. Cameron's Aranier. There is a 25% chance of nailing it first shot with no errors, and most people don't know how the map spawns, so let me prove my point here. The first room, let me get the right colors. The first room, it can't be down right, so that is always a no-go. So it can either spawn either up right or down left, and it's going to be a long hallway. So if you find an immediate tile that ends, then that's not it. So this is the correct way to go because it's the long hallway. And let me just demonstrate the bottom one is going to be the wrong way to go. And it's never to the right. So this long hallway, let me get just far enough into kind of, okay, now we can show the map in its glorious glory. Yes. So the map has one tile here, and then it either goes to the right or to the left. So either you'll see the two tiles here, or you'll see the two tiles here. So for simplicity, let's just say this is going to the up left. Aranier is either right here, right here, right here, or right here. 25% chance of getting Aranier. And likewise, let's see if I can hit this and move it this way. If you have the map spawn this way, then exact same thing, 25% chance. So once you find this long hallway, you're going to look for which of the four it is. It's not here, but I know now that since the map, too many hotkeys, coming back here, and then there, and then there. So since the map has the four tiles here, I've already searched this, this is the next one to go for because it's very close, it's one tile away. Whereas this one I have to go kind of like two tiles because I have to cross this tile and then go this way. So I'm going to search this tile next, and then that means naturally I'm going to come here and then there. And it's one of those four. So it makes Aranier very fast to do. And here it is. This is Aranier. So then it curves this way. It has a tile, and then up here and Aranier. So we hit it on the second of the 4 attempts. And some people ask, did you pre-scan these maps? Are you hacking and doing map hacks? And I'm like, no, it's just maps spawn a certain way. And so once you know how the maps spawn, it's very easy to just follow what the map is telling you and your knowledge of how the map can spawn to minimize your travel time. Here's another one where you can actually skip Karnya. You don't have to speak with her. There's guides online for... Let's see, caverns. Yeah, this is another good image. So you get that entrance. It's either down left or up right. And then you get this kind of 4. It's one of these 4. And in this case, the 4th was the down right. And you always get that tile to go up right to Aranier. So let's see. So it has the map, but it doesn't show you that kind of stuff. That's why I wanted to make this guide to showcase more maps. Southern Highlands, I almost never find that this is where the staff is. It could just be experiential bias. So you might find that the staff is here, but typically I'll just zoop this way because I want to be as close to the exit as possible, and also because this is the closest one to the entrance. So check it here first, and then just go across and then go up. And there's a lot of that kind of stuff online. You'll probably find even more of them. So there's no point in me checking any further because it's not there. Go straight left. It's not there, so it's right here. Where is it? Oh, I didn't check enough down left. I'm going a little bit too fast. Here, there's a couple of shortcuts. I haven't tried this. Can I? Okay, you actually can do that dash. I usually just go a little bit further because this has a much shorter distance. And then likewise, this has a very large distance. Can I hit it from here? Okay, I can. So again, just knowing some shortcuts, you can kind of go here and then down and then here. This one, it's not just the path up right, but you have to go like one screen to the left and then up right. This one is go straight up until you get there. So just memorizing maps. So when you get those kinds of static maps, memorize them, makes it faster. Once you talk to the wounded man, you can dash through and go down to the Halls of Agony here. So Demon Hunters obviously need to walk around, but you do need to talk to the wounded man before you do this dash. So you can start talking to him and then start dashing, and then once you start dashing, you can spam spacebar. Halls of Agony 1. I haven't really found a effective way of determining the tile set. I know that it's approximately 5 to 6 tiles long before you will see the meat cleavers, and the cleavers tell you that the entrance is right around the corner. So if we were counting tiles, we have 1 tile, 2 tiles, and then 3 tiles, and 4 tiles. So we've done about 4 tiles, and it's usually about 6 is when you'll see the cleavers. So I know that we're getting pretty close. So just keep traveling in this direction. And it could be right on here. Right here. Nope. So then I'm backtracking 1 tile here, because it's back here. And it could be either down right or down left. And then this has to be the cleavers. And there we are. There's the meat cleavers. So once you see the cleavers, that's the correct way to go. And usually it's 1 tile off from past the meat cleavers. Sometimes maybe 2 tiles. But you'll always, while going through the meat cleavers, you will see the yellow blip on the mini-map to... And this is what I mean by meat cleavers. You'll see the yellow blip on the mini-map that you can use to determine where it is. So once you find the cleavers, it's about 6 tiles long. Go for it. Halls of Agony level 2. This is a fun one that I did not know until world record holder Poketoad told me. If you kind of draw a line that the map goes like in this direction, you can say that this is an offset of 0. So you're always traveling down right, and you're never offsetting from that course. The entrance for the next area is always at an offset of 1. So the correct place to go in this map is always going to be an offset of 1. So as soon as you can, get off of this main diagonal, off 1 tile or off 1 tile, up or down. And when you do, that's where the exit's going to be. So what I try and do is I try and stay on this main tile as long as possible. If I can see the yellow blip up here, I know, okay, go up right, and then it's 1 tile off. Or the blip is down left. So don't get confused and trying to go backward, trying to go all the way into these random locations. It is always going to be precisely 1 tile off of this main offset. So let's see how far down right I can go. I think this is about it. And there we go. It's 1 tile off. So in this case, it's 1 tile up. So that's something that Poketoad told me. I'm very glad for that kind of information so that I can speed up my own runs. Stuff like this is, when you run it enough, you'll just kind of learn spawn patterns for the cages. And a large portion of it is you won't be able to enter a cage via like dashes until you break you won't be able to enter a prison cell until you break the cage or the door that kind of locks the prison cell in place. So you will be dashing a lot and using a lot of missed dashes, and you'll see me do that kind of thing, where I go around this way, even if there is no door, just because if there's a door, I'm just endlessly dashing into this wall. So I'll just go this way to hit the door. One more kind of shortcut that monks and wizards can do by porting is right here. So if you're decent enough, you can port down, but I believe you can also port up, yes. So you can't just port like down up, although I've done that a couple of times and almost messed it up, because you can dash here. And in Act 3, I'm going to demonstrate this a little bit more. You can lose about like 10 seconds on your run if you constantly keep missing this. So after you dash once, I try to do like a small dash, and then click on Halls of Agony 3. Halls of Agony 3, the boss always spawns in the upright direction. So whenever possible, try aiming upright or aim upright. In rare cases, you'll actually have to go all the way down left and then curve back around into an upright. Once again, you're getting to a tile length of about 7 here, so it's not too bad. Even if you kind of hit the wrong area, just keep looking for it. So tile 1, tile 2, again, aim upright as much as possible. Tile 4, tile 5, and this might be it. Tile 6 and tile 7, yep, there it is. So it's easy enough to see, okay, just keep going upright, and okay, I know this tile always aims upright. I know that we've hit the tile length, so the boss is here. Simple stuff like that. That just helps you to more confidently know how the map will proceed. So no, I'm not map hacking. I'm just using all of my knowledge of how maps can spawn to optimize my runs. And if you notice, I didn't make a single mistake that last map. Halls of Agony Act level 3, I went directly for the boss. It kind of looks like a map hack with how direct it is. Alrighty, Act 2. Always hit Sweeping Winds and then lock in Epiphany, because this is a drought. There's no enemies and no explodies, no breakables for a while, so you're not going to be getting any Burst of Wrath procs and stuff like that. So Sweeping Winds, Epiphany. You have to talk to Ajira to open this gate, but you do not need to speak with the Enchantress. So just run right by the Enchantress and then go to here. The Enchantress does have a little bit of time where she talks. So what I'll do is I'll come back here to kill these enemies to make sure she doesn't talk too long. Now watch what happens after I kill these mobs. She starts talking, and then she'll sit here for 10 seconds. Oh, she actually went instantly. So what I'll do is, after I talk with her, I go down left to kind of make her stop talking, and then back up right, and she immediately comes over to break the illusion. So after I'll kill these last 2 sets of enemies, I'll talk with the Enchantress, come back down, and come up. Usually it saves, if that's like 15 seconds it can waste, then it can save up to 15 seconds. So here, once again, you're going to look for more guides online on how to traverse these types of maps easily. You won't find too many pictures, but it's not difficult. It's a static map, which means, and yeah, you don't have to talk with him, you just bypass it. It's a static map, which means just memorize it, so I'll typically stop for half a second there, and then I'll stop a half a second there, and I'll come up here and be like, okay, there it is. Oops, it goes left first. And you don't need to kill all the guards. I just go in once and then come back out. Usually, because I hit so much stuff, Wreath of Lightning procs and kills the rest. I don't know if you have to kill 1 or 2 ritualists, or just damage them in general. But yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's all there is to it. It's like, did I even kill a lot? Yeah, 5 of them are still alive, so I don't know exactly how many it takes, and I don't really bother, because when you dash into them, everything dies anyway. So once again, more static maps, just kind of get used to it. And then here, I'd always kill this guard first, and then I can kill the lock cage more easily. I can kill, no, I can't kill the lock cage, I can open the lock cage. Here you just kind of wait till he gets out of the cage, and then you can kill all these guys. Some time ago, they patched these guards that they no longer disappear. They used to disappear for 5 seconds at a time, but so many patches ago they removed that, so now they no longer disappear. And I am thankful, because I can't tell you how many headaches that cause me when I don't know where the enemies are and how many of them there are left and all that good stuff. So I haven't mentioned game-ending bugs in a while, and that's because actually the next big one is coming up right here. There haven't been any game-ending bugs for a while, and you might forget, right here is the biggest one of the game. So I'm going to purposefully cause it because it's so easy to do. Once you come out of the audience chamber, there are 3 sets of guards. So I'm just going to let these guys kill me on sweeping winds. It's a long tile, then there's a room with 4 demon pillars, and then it comes down right. The 3 sets of guards are right about here, and right about here. If you just dash past them all, and you don't kill them all, these 4 demon pillars will not spawn. What does that mean? The run is over, because their trigger's gone. So if I dash right past... Oh, they actually spawned this time, even though I didn't kill them all. Okay, well, it happens so often, I'm surprised it didn't happen. So I actually didn't get to show that bug, but you'll just be standing here. It says, you know, escape with Leah or something, and then the 4 demon pillars will not spawn. And then you have to end the run and start it from scratch. So I actually left guards open, so now I don't physically know what the trigger is. I haven't physically tried to ever cause it before, so that's interesting. Okay, but that was game-ending bug number 4. Demon pillars don't spawn. I guess I'll need more information about how to cause that bug, so I'll know how to prevent it in the future. Let's see, no information here, and no information here. Yeah, these sewers, there's nothing, but I think I found something on these maps. What's this called? Sewers. So I want to demonstrate that there is a plus on this map. So once you enter the map, you're looking for a plus. When you can find this plus, or an X if you don't throw your head 90 degrees, 45 degrees to the side. So you're looking for this plus or this X. The exit to the Wretched Pit is always 1 tile off of this plus. So just keep moving. This is a triple tile, so just keep going. It curves around. This is a triple tile, keep going. You find the plus, go 1, 1, 1. And it's always going to be 1 off. The next tile is always either 1 or 2 off. And sometimes I get confused. I think sewers is 1 or 2 off, and the next one's 1 off, and then I kind of miss it. So let's see. I did turn my brightness up a little bit, but it's still a little bit difficult to see. And here's the plus. So go down right, not there, down left, not there, up right, and this is where it's the 2 tiles off? No. Aha, what is this? There's an event, so there's 2 pluses. Okay, so there's the second, and there's a go. There's actually a second plus. That actually threw us for a loop this time. So in this one, you go 1 tile, 1 tile, 1 tile, and there you go. It's always 1 tile or 2 tiles off of this plus, and having 2 pluses is very annoying. Maybe I should get used to having a minimum map length of like 3 for that. So if I can go back, we have, whoa, what'd I do? This one. We have tile 1, tile 2, tile 3, and then you've got the plus. In the map we just had, maybe I can go back. Can I go back? No, I can't go back. But we only had a map length of like 2 when we hit that first plus. So that was probably my indication of I do need to go more distance. So that plus was incorrect. This is another place where if you have multiple people, one person could be waiting at Hakan, one person could be entering Adria's pit, third person could be speaking with Tyrael, and kind of speed it up. So again, here you're looking for a plus, no plus, no plus. Here's a plus. Go 1, go 1, go 1, and there it is. So this one was a map length of 3. 1, 2, 3 tiles, and then had the exits. The other one was like 1 or 2. So look for that plus, and it's always 1 tile, possibly 2 tiles away, and that 2 tiles has messed me up a few times. Once we get to not ruins, well, we're going to find the ruins, but let's see, where are we? Dalgar Oasis, you've got a bunch of spawns, and you'll find this kind of stuff online all the time of, hey, here's all the spawns. Just kind of get used to, well, this one doesn't really spawn often, so I'm just going to kind of glance check it. And if it's not there, I'm just going to keep checking the next ones until I eventually run into it. And at this point, I say, okay, well, where could I have missed it? It could be up here, and it could be maybe I didn't go down left enough. So those are like the two areas I missed. So there's better ways to tile it if you just play it a little bit more consistently. And once again, credits to Pokito on the next section. I didn't realize that this had a tile set that's predictable. So with this tile, it's a 2x3, so let's just imagine that this is the way that it spawns. So it's a 2 to the right and 3 to the left length. And among this 2x3 tile set, there are, wait, wrong color. If I can get the right color. There's going to be possibly like 5 exits to this thing. There's precisely a 2x3 grid, and there's precisely 5 exits. So once you kind of find the central area, look for ways to escape. One of them is always the entrance you came from, and then potentially, one of them is going to be the place to go. So again, this tile I've gotten credit for Pokito. So where's it going? This is going down right. No, it's going up right. So now we've hit the 3 tiles. So tile number 1 is right here, and it looks like it's going this way, and then tile number 2, and now tile number 3. So I'm going to try and look for, are there ways out here, 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 etc. To one of these yellow lines is the correct way to go. And if I can just kind of, I don't know, show you, oh, there we go. So if I can position it again, one of these is going to be it. So I found the one of the very first exits to this 2x3 grid. And I know it's this direction because there was no way to go here. So let me undo. Can I? Yes, I can. So there's no way to go here, which means that it can either extend this way or this way. So it could actually have been a 2x3 grid this way, and I just lucked out and I got the reds instead of the blues. But that is the way that this tile set for the ruins, or the Forgotten Ruins, spawns. It's always a 2x3 grid with 5 exits. So find your head, go back to town. That's right. In a group, they'll talk with Adria, but since I'm solo, I gotta talk with her. And involves some unskippable dialogue. And talk with Zoltan Cool, and then take the Dalgar Oasis waypoint. Where is it? I actually never take it myself, so don't know where this waypoint is. Alright, now we're getting into the eastern and western channels. This is another one where I don't quite know how this spawns. It always seems to be a giant cacophony of a maze. I got super lucky here. This this happens like 5%, maybe at tops 10% of the time, where right off the bat I can see that, it's blinking right here. So that's where to go. Now the problem is it's never going to just be, 3 tiles. It's usually going to wrap around and, I don't know, insert random drawing here. So you'll have to kind of mess around and say, maybe it's going up right and going around. Oh, hooray, and now it's going up right again and then back down left, and okay, so I got lucky-ish. Wait, no, it's always coming from the bottom, so now it'll come up, and there we go. So it snakes. This level, I don't really have a good way of determining it. If you know it, great. Even though it says Western, you're going to go right first. And then same with Eastern Channel 2. I think there is the snake dude that says Caesar. Right? Oh, no, we must stop her for our master. I think that's it. Which one is it? Where is it? We must stop her. No. There we go. We must stop her for our master. Once you hear that dialogue, then you know that the correct way to go is going to be top right. That is about the only key that I've been able to figure out on this map. If you have other ways of determining how to more accurate... Oh, it's not upright. Interesting. But at least we know we're very close to the exit, if anything. That's about the only thing that I've been able to figure out with that map. So, again, there might be more information. Maybe you can't find it online. Maybe it's in a Discord channel somewhere, or whatever the case is. So, I'm glad I at least was able to figure that out after a bunch of runs. So, the Crucible is the shortest tile in the game. It can be a map length of as low as 2 and like at maximum 5. And it's always going to be upright. So try and go upright whenever possible, as fast as possible, because it's always going to be here. And look at this. It's, what is that, a tile length of 1, 2, 3, the 4th tile is it. So very, very fast. Again, this is another kind of static map. You can look online. There's going to be a lot of information about where different things spawn. You can kind of memorize the locations and get a good feel of, you know, here's kind of where things spawn. I mostly take it by ear. I know the general idea is I could have just barely missed it to the side. I don't exactly know how far it off. It could also be up right here. I might have missed it down here, and then there's a chance that maybe I went a little bit too wide. So memorize the map. I didn't and haven't bothered to. Like, okay, it's this many dashing strikes. Oh yes, Vault, I forgot to mention. So let's talk about Vault. Vault is always, just like Cathedral level 4, is always a 3x3 grid, and I'm not sure which way it goes, so let's try and find out here in a second. So, no, it's not that way, so that might be this way. Nope, and there's the quad. So it could be down left, I think it is. Yeah, so this is the 3x3 grid. So if I draw it here, you have tile 1, tile 2, tile 3, and this is your 3x3 grid. Once again, just like Cathedral level 4, you will very rarely see that the correct way to go is in the center of this, but much more frequently it's going to be on the outside. So obviously you can't get it too close to the entrance, so try and go a little bit into the map to try and find out where are likely paths to spawn the exit tile. And I've gotten messed up here sometimes when I see this quad tile, and I know there is a quad. There's a couple of quads in Act 2, so I think, oh, it's the quad, it must be one of these, and then it's not, and I get confused. So I don't think that it has to spawn by a quad in this scenario. So yeah, this could go down right, which might be the exit, and there we go. And the reason I knew that is, again, this is the grid, and so you have to exit. So I know that this tile leads down right, and it always has a block right here, so you can't go down left. So I want to check the down right because that exits this square, and it's right here. And again, it could be somewhere else outside. So look at how little of the map I was able to investigate and find the correct way to go. So most guides out there are going to show you, hey, you need this build, here's some skills you can use, memorize this. No, they're just repeating stuff that they've, you know, plagiarized offline, let's be honest. And now they put it up and get 500,000 views, and they get money for making that kind of guide. Nope. You want to include useful information that's going to help, like how do the tiles spawn. So if you're looking for that kind of stuff, just, you know, go on the internet, do some searches. You'll find it all the time. Like, hey, here's the optimal route to take for collecting the people. Yeah, no. This one is annoying, Cave of the Betrayer. I prefer Demon Hunter here because there's so many messed up tiles that are hard to dash around. Demon Hunter can just vault across all of the tiles, and so whenever I'm running, I actually hope that we have a Demon Hunter runner and that they find Cave of the Betrayer first. If they do, I let them have it, and I'll take Vault because Vault, you can jump over things that the Demon Hunter can't. So I didn't mention it, but I will now. This always has a tile leading to the up left for the exit. So once you get into level 2, just always try and aim up left. It's blatantly easy, and I won't go back because I need to go to town. Wait, did I not collect the Fault of the Assassin? Wow, okay. I did not. I was so busy talking about everything that I didn't bother to click them. And of course, I just figured that out now, so you're watching this video and be like, why didn't you click it? Oh yeah, I see I messed up there. Yes. I am now aware of my mistake. So, okay, there is no towning. I'm usually used to towning here. Just because I find the first one, and then I find the second one, and then everybody else gives up and just goes straight for the terminus. These two, I always aim for the right one first because it's a little bit trickier than the top one. The right one always starts with a plus, again, with those annoying little pluses. So it always starts with a plus, and it aims in the 4 directions. One of the directions is the correct way to go and has a long hallway. All the others are flat-out dead ends right smack off the bat. So hit your plus, go there. It's not there. Check here, and it is possibly... Here it is. There's the correct way to go. It's going to have a very long hallway, and that's hallway number 1. Then it's going to have a little bit of tiling. So just do your best to do a couple of tiles. This is aiming down left. This one is not. So, and there we go. It's just a very minor amount of tiling. I haven't figured out how many tiles, but I know it's very small. And then once you find your second long hallway, that's your ticket out of here. Once again, another plus where it's always 1 tile off. And the reason why I prefer other people to take unknown depths is because it always starts with a long hallway. So people just know, hey, go this way. And then once they have the long hallway, it's a little bit more tiling. So there's extra tiles. Instead of like the 2 or 3 tiles we saw in the other one, this could be about 4 or 5 tiles long. And then once you get to the second long hallway, you found your exit. So what is that? 1 tile, 2 tiles, 3, 4 tiles long. The other one was 2 tiles. This one's 4 tiles. So a little bit more tiling in the center. And of course, if they get pretty slow and I can finish my side first, then I can come back and just dash all the way to where they are and then continue forward. So they can still help me kind of get through that tiling section. That's why I like to go right first and let other people tackle the top. If you're doing it solo, it's just personal preference. Realm of Shadow, I don't know too well if there is a pattern for how this spawns, but I do know that the end is always this exact quad. So once you hit this quad, it's always precisely 1 tile off. So once you hit this quad, just rush in the cardinal directions. Is it there? Yes, it is. So look at how easy that was. So it's always 1 tile off of that that plus or that X. So again, I don't know if there's anything before that plus, before that 4 corner. So just hopefully you'll be able to deal with the small amount of tiling necessary just to be able to get to that plus. The rest of this is pretty easy. Nothing really to mention other than in the past I have kind of like botched runs because I couldn't figure out where these people were. So note the meteors. When the meteors come down, if they kill somebody, then you do have to catch them again. So I don't know if that happens with the carts. I don't think it does. But if you collect these people, for example, and then run them into a meteor and they die, it was absorbed, then you will have to get them back. And so sometimes you're just running around, you collect all the refugees, and you do so in record time. And you're like, wow, I'm doing so amazing here. And then you hit your refugees. And then you come back and you're like, why isn't Adria doing her thing? And so you have to come back and look. It even shows right here, I killed this guy because I stood on a meteor, and it still shows that there's a yellow dot because he's respawned. So after a refugee dies, you do have to go back, grab them, and then come over. And look at that. Even after that, you still saw the gold pickup. So you know that refugee died from the meteor. So just note that, yes, refugees can die, and it can lengthen your runtime, so be aware of the meteors as you're running around to pick up the refugees. Here you gotta kill this guy, and then you gotta kill this elite pack. Once the elite pack dies, spam spacebar, and then you're in Belial. So not much to talk about. Once we get into Act 3, all the maps at the start are fully static. So once again, talking about tool-assisted speedruns, you can create a macro, a predefined set of mouse positions and button press timings to get a 100% perfect map. As long as, of course, you don't have procs like I was talking about in the build section, like Flying Dragon, Echoing Fury. I can't access my skills, but the I think it's not Momentum. It's the other passive that increases your attack speed whenever you hit an enemy over so much life. Like Demon Hunters with Boon of the Hoarder and stuff. And Avarice Band will have random amounts of move speed at times. So just, yeah. We're talking about tool assistance. I'm struggling to find stuff to talk about right now because it's so boring at this section. Excuse me, so boring at this section. Once you get to Act 3, you can tell everybody to take a restroom break because there's literally nothing to do. Except for GOM. Once you get to GOM, then you have to decline an event. So there's just really nothing to do. From a speedrunning perspective, it's super fast and easy. From a towning perspective, it's nothing to do. And then once you get to Act 4, there is no towning. You just got to decline a bunch of events. So talk with this guard, and then go to Stonefort. Talk with the best NPC in the game, Captain Hale. Anybody who says otherwise, I don't know you anymore. We're no longer friends. I don't know if you have to kill these enemies, but I just do because I got nothing better to do. Maybe you can type in chat or something. You know, give somebody a text message. With this next section, with the catapults, the first 2 catapults can be completed automatically. You don't have to be there for them. The first one activates automatically when you run past it. The second one you do have to talk with. So notice that this first one I am going to run past in 3, 2, 1, run past. The second one I'm going to talk to the NPC, and then once I talk with the NPC, I just dash past. And there you go. The first 2 are now technically complete. You just got to wait for a long period of time. And then this is where the sweeping builds laziness comes into play. Just click and Alt-Tab and click and Alt-Tab. So while this is happening, let me see if there's anything more useful in these guides. Sky Crown, yeah, like, you can memorize these maps. It's really simple. Any other useful stuff? This one no longer has pictures. It just kind of stops. What else? I mean, you could find some information maybe on these map guys, but it doesn't have every map in the game. So there's going to be gaps in knowledge. Maybe there's Discord servers that have more pictures. You know, lots of information either available online or through figuring out by taking a lot of pictures of full maps, uncovering all the areas and then taking a screenshot, zooming it out, and all that good stuff. Doing research. And if you do, then you're probably going to be serious enough to join some sort of sprinter community, in which case you can ask them. They probably already have plenty of those kinds of guides. So now we're going to do Keep Deaths level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1, the entrance always aims to the upright. Wait, did I looked away from my screen and suddenly I'm not teleporting. Talk with Tyrael. Wait, sorry. What am I doing? So talk with Tyrael and then go to Keep Deaths level 1. So Keep Deaths level 1, it always aims to the upright, and there's always a fire tile. But before we hit that, we're going to talk about squares again. Whereas in Act 1 you had Cathedral level 4 that had kind of a... Whoa, that's not a very good square. Kind of a square formation. And in Act 2 we had a Vault of the Assassin, which had this kind of square formation. You're also going to see this right here, keep depths levels 1 and 2, you're going to see the square. And you're also going to see it pop up again in Act 5 when you get to the Ruins of Corvus. So there's going to be a whole bunch of squares in this game. And this one is not really starting yet. Where's it going? Okay, now it's aiming down the left. So the square might come to the... there's two possibilities. It could be this way or it could be this way. And since I don't know which, I don't want to speak too soon. Okay, now this tile is exiting to the upper left. Okay, so now we know that the square looks kind of like this. So what you're going to try and do is, since the tile always exits to the top right, you want to try and exit the square to the top right whenever possible. So now I know I'm at like pretty much the worst location. So nothing you can do but just keep trudging along, keep trying to get back to normal. And actually, it wasn't even a square. It just faked us out. It was kind of squarey. So again, keep aiming up right, and you're looking for a fire tile. This is not it. Here it is. So this fire tile, where you can see that if there was an event here, actually, he is here, Ironsmith Malnado. When you see this tile, it's always up left, and it's right here. So it always aims up right, and then the tile is right there. Level 2, once again, let me see if I can, hopefully the square's around. I can kind of show you the square. Maybe it's squaring. Doesn't look like it's long enough distance, though. Okay, no, so could be this way. Come on, I want one square. Squares happen all the time on this map. Yeah, now it's kind of squaring. Yeah, there we go. That's the square. So a little bit of a smaller square. Usually it's one tile bigger. But it still shows that there is a lot of squares on this map, and you want to always try and exit the square when possible. Because if you've gone here and then you've gone here and it splits like this, and you know that this tile could have aimed down left, you don't want to enter this kind of null zone, because you know that in level 2, the tile is always a kind of icy, cold outdoor tile that aims to the up left. So if you want to try and go this way, you're going to hope that it curves and goes up left. And if it doesn't, then you're in trouble because you got to backtrack a lot. So always try and exit the square to the left when possible. Actually, in this case, it was to the up right. And this is the outdoor kind of snowy area. So as the level 1 is fire, level 2 is ice. That's the way I like to think about it. And then GOM being level 3 is just aim up right. You'll find it. And now it's a whole tile set off. So let me go over one unit and go to GOM. So here, now we're going to speak with Lieutenant, whatever his face is, Tywall, Lieutenant, I don't know, some lieutenant guy, and then go to the armory. Lieutenant Laval, and then go to the armory. And here is where I like to show off Dashing Strike by just throwing my mouse in a circle. And once Wreath procs, you can kind of sit still. And this is the longest section of the game where there's really a single continuous tile set. So let's see if I can kind of nail this. So not much talking here. There are 3 ballistas you need to kill and 1 trebuchet. So when you note that there are 6 possible spawn locations, I've hit 2 of them. So let's see, is it to the right? It's not to the right. It is down. So it's not going to be to the upside. And then I kill the trebuchet, come over, and then kill Siegebreaker. So you'll be finding this kind of information in guides online about how to look for the 6 ballista locations. Just memorize them easy enough. Once you get past this second tower, it curves up left. And then just dash straight across. Demon Hunters actually have this part a little bit easier because many times there are objects in the way of a monk, and you're trying to dash and it won't let you pass because there's an object all the way out of the way. So, luckily, my last couple of runs I haven't hit the bad objects. So here is another one, Area Crater 1 and Area Crater 2. I'm a little bit confused. There definitely is information out there on how these spawn, but I kind of forget them. I believe level 2 is similar to Halls of Agony level 2. So let me kind of remind you that in Halls of Agony, we started on the up left, if I can get the right color here. We started on the up left, and we wanted to go all the way down in this perfect diagonal, and there is a possibility on one of the sides, one tile offset, where the correct location can be. So similarly, our creator levels 1 and 2 are also going to have that one tile offset. So you're going to come to a straight line here. Let me get the right color. So if you go in this kind of straight line, you want to try and go one off in either direction, up or down. And this is where I get confused. So somebody's probably going to have to correct me here. Area Creator 1 can spawn 1, 0, or -1. So it could be one off, or it could be straight up, straight to the upright. I believe Area Creator 2 always is a 1 offset. I could have those mistaken. So again, somebody might need to correct me on those, and I haven't been able to find that information anywhere else online. So hopefully somebody is able to point me in the right direction. So this one, it was a 0 offset. So again, it could be 0, or it could be 1 or -1. I think that's the case for level 1. Once you get to towers, let me see if I can pull this off. Once you get to about this area, don't dashing strike, because... Oh, right, it can't go on this one, but the next one it can. Let's see, once you have done this enough times, yeah, this one, now you see that there's a tile set directly above this, so if you dash incorrectly, then if I can do it, which it doesn't seem like it's letting me, but I know it happens on the later levels. I haven't really tried the earlier levels, but you can dash up. So just note that if you're too fast on your dashes, you could teleport back up and waste a lot of time because it's a one-way dash. Due to the orthogonality of the camera, your character range actually looks like this. If you can kind of put a circle around your character. And so the distance from your character to here is actually about the same distance as your character to here, which means that if your mouse is on the corner of the screen all the way down here, that's about right here if you look at the upper left of your screen. So you can actually dash a little bit further into the top corners of your screen than you can into the bottom corners of your screen. Because of that, you can physically dash upward, up the tile, but you can't physically dash back down because your mouse doesn't reach at the correct distance. So that wastes about 10 to 15 seconds. I'll show you on the next area when we get there. Again, level 2, I believe, always has to be an offset of 1. So colors, colors. So we have our main line here, and then our offsets of 1 and -1. So I believe level 2 always has to be an offset of 1, whereas level 1 can be an offset of 1, 0, or -1. So here I'm going to take an up left, even though I know it's usually the wrong tile, and just hope that it is. And actually, it was the right tile. I think that's the case. Again, somebody has to correct me. Level 1, it could be an offset of 1, 0, -1. Level 2, it always has to be an offset of 1 or -1. So here, can I do this dash? No, it's not going to let me because tile set is not lining up. Yeah, tile set's not lining up. I think here, maybe? Okay, I need to get this on at least one. Yeah, there we go. This is the right tile set to lose a bunch of time. So if you're dashing and you're dashing and you're dashing and you're just like, where are we? Come on. And now it's not going to let me, is it? They didn't patch this, did they? And then suddenly it's... Anyway, I've lost time before. So, yeah. I can't demonstrate it, but just know that it exists, that you can port back up. But it's a one-way dash. You can't dash back down. So you will lose about 10 seconds or so, or 5 seconds, navigating all the way back around. Alright, that's about it for Act 3. The rest is... There's no game-ending bugs. There are No real points to mention. Just make sure, just like some of the other guys, if you know the lore of Diablo 3, you are trying to use the Black Soul Stone to absorb the souls of the prime evils. So just make sure that after you collect your Soul Stone from Zoltan Kuhl and from Belial and from Asmodan, that you always talk with the Soul Stone to move on. Really good storyline. I do recommend watching it and getting used to it, because it's a lot of fun. Act 4, again, I'm using a monk, so just remember, always reactivate Sweeping Winds whenever you move to a different act. Act 4, there's no towning, so no reason to teleport. And anybody that is in the group with you can simply accept all the events, because there's no reason to stay in town. There's no people to talk with, so just when you press start something, and then they hit decline, then you get a message that says, hey, somebody declined this, would you like to accept? And you have to press OK. So it's just a little bit faster to not have to press OK. So I just tell everybody accept. Is that a mempo? No. I need a mempo. Here, once again, you're going to find plenty of guides online to say, hey, here's the optimal rift pathing for whichever way you get. Just memorize them, use some guide, and figure it out. There's not much to say here. So I got the very last portal. And this one, you just have to, I don't even think you have to kill the rift dude. If I can get a nice dash here without, yeah, I didn't even kill Hammer Sledge, and I can already go back, or whatever his face was. So you only have to kill the Rift Oculus. You don't have to kill the boss, so that's just something to note. I'm glad I was able to showcase it. Wait, I didn't kill that. Oh, there was nothing there. See, I don't even memorize these. And since the last one I can't show you the third tier, there's no real point in me elaborating on this. You can go into a bounty map, and when you click on map, Gardens of Hope tiers 1, 2, and 3 are maps that you can click on and select. So you can just go through these on like normal difficulty and learn the maps that way. You know, easy stuff. Here's one thing. Tyrael sometimes waits like 10 seconds, and I don't know what the trigger is. I think it's because there's sometimes enemies that have to like despawn or something. I don't know what that triggers, but sometimes it wastes like 10 seconds. Sometimes it's like nearly instantaneously. So again, I don't know. Coming up here is going to be our first mouse trick. So when you start an event, notice how my mouse is visible and you can see my mouse. When you start an event, normally your mouse is invisible like right now, and then suddenly mouse becomes visible. So when your mouse is invisible, you can still move it around your screen. It's just, since you can't see it, you have no idea where your mouse is. And the next event, after you enter the zone, you have to speak with Tyrael. And Tyrael's at a very specific spawn point. So what I do is I aim my mouse directly above me, slightly right and slightly down. And it's going to be right about here. So when I enter this area and dash, I should be right on Tyrael. And if I dash fast enough and move my mouse down left, I should be right on Tyrael, and there I am. My mouse has already hovered over him. So that's the trick I use, and as soon as you hit that Tyrael, you can just instantly dash to Diablo. Just make sure to hit spacebar to decline, or spacebar to get Tyrael through his dialogue so that you can enter the door. Otherwise, you'll just be clicking a non-existent space. So that's the first mouse trick. There is another one in Act 5. I forget where it's located, but we'll hit it. We'll come across it when we do. So Ariel spawns here. Just make sure to talk with her to go to Act 5. Since Act 4 used to be the end of the game, Diablo will guarantee drop a legendary, even on normal difficulty, as long as you have completed this for the first time. So if you've hit reset quests and you're starting from scratch, Diablo will drop a legendary. But if you're doing Sprinter, the legendary takes so long to spawn, it's not worth it. So let me just demonstrate, just in case you're at the start of a season. See how long it takes, and there's a legendary. So Yeah, doing Sprinter, you're not going to wait for that Legendary. You don't need it if you've got, you know, best in slot gear. Just fun facts if you ever decide to do the events, the story mode. Likewise, Malthael, same thing. Always drops 1 guaranteed Legendary, even on normal difficulty, if it's your first time completing it. But if you've already completed it, and you have not reset quests, then it's a normal boss. Here, people get confused. If you're in a multiplayer game, some people will be like, I'm in town, but that's because they're still back here, or they walk into here. What they don't realize is this is actually a different tile set. This isn't the town. So what you have to tell them to do is enter the cathedral and then walk back out. So technically this is Cathedral Courtyard. That's the name of this map. So once you enter here, talk with Tyrael and leave, you're no longer in Cathedral Courtyard. Now you're in Survivor's Enclave. And you're physically unable to go back because this is a different tile set. Just something to note. Some people get confused online when they're like, I can't find Tyrael. Where do I talk with Tyrael? Tell them to enter the cathedral. And then exit the cathedral. Wow, very lucky. So this is the longest tile set in the game. I have guesstimated that it could be between 15 and 21 tiles at times. So that's not to say that's what it is every time. But it is very long. So I can't really predict the tiles too well. I think this is... No, I think this is 1 tile, and then 2 tiles, 3 tiles, and then 4 tiles, something like that. And now we can already see that here it is, but it never aims down left, so we always have to go around the side and go back up. Actually, no, it could be down left. Anyway, this tile is way too short, so I'm not going to be able to enter it just here. It's always like 15 tiles long, so yeah, it's not going to let me just go straight there. So I'm going to have to go all the way around. So that's just the way this is, and it's maybe, yes, okay, what is that, like 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tiles. Okay, so that was actually a pretty good spawn at only 8 tiles, but it can be a lot longer. And then just one trick, let me go back for a second just to show you. One trick is a large portion of these tiles have dead-end tops. So because of that, whenever I'm running this, I try and avoid going to the upright when possible, because there's a high possibility that it's a dead end. So just something you'll learn when you run a bunch and you keep hitting those dead ends to the upright. Just stop going upright. It's a little bit easier said than done. Briarthorn Cemetery, totally random map. So it's difficult to kind of predict it. I haven't been able to figure out anything good. So the only notable thing is this map is divided in half. So there is a section, a bridge, and another section. There is always an entrance and an exit on the different sections. So you will never see them on the same section. So you always, when you enter, have to cross the bridge. And that's very, very basic. That's like literally the only thing allowing us to somewhat decently figure out how to traverse this map. So always cross that bridge. Here, there's something I haven't really figured out. Sometimes Miriam takes a while to speak with. Sorry, not Miriam, Tyrael afterward. So if I talk with Miriam here, and try and go back to town, Tyrael sometimes will not spawn for like 5 seconds sometimes, and you'll be sitting here waiting. I haven't been able to figure out why Miriam sometimes... Oh, oops, that's the second part. Why sometimes Miriam takes so long to get Tyrael to activate and allow me to be spoken with. So I haven't figured that out. If there is more information, you know, please share it on, you know, possible 10-second improvement. When you're looking at, you know, 39 minutes, like closing in on world record pace, and Tyrael takes 10 seconds to load, yeah, it's never a fun scenario. So here, Urzael is always to the up left. He's always on a tile that looks like this. So always try and aim up left whenever possible. There's typically long diagonals aiming up right, and obviously he can just appear out of any of these. So try and go up left, or sorry, go down left or up right when possible. very basic stuff. There's one or two more tricks in the game. Oh wow, I didn't even know that dash existed. I've always gone around the left side. I learned something. Yeah, if you stand right next to Urzael here, the reason I don't is because Sweeping Winds deactivates, and then it's annoying to get it stacked back up. So here is another game-ending bug. I don't know if I can do it. It might have been patched, but if your Sweeping Winds potentially kills... No, it doesn't. Okay. I don't know if it's bugged, but back in Act 1 I said Alaric is immune. It doesn't look like Spirit of Malthael is immune. It's possible he gets like a 0.01 second delay or a single frame delay. It is, I have done it before, it is possible to kill this Spirit of Malthael. And obviously if you kill him, you can't talk with him and you break the run. So what I tend to do to avoid that bug is if he is spawning right here, I'll just sit a little bit off to a side or something, and then right when I see the exclamation point above him, I'll quickly dash over, and then, you know, my mouse goes dash and then returns to the center. So it goes dash and returns to the center, dash, returns to the center. So it's like I dash to him and then I talk with him. Just to avoid that, because it seemed like there was a slight, like he spawns, he becomes targetable, and then the invincibility kicks in. So just another game-ending bug for you to be aware of. If you are not aware, this is the most annoying cart in the game. You totally get stuck on it, so try and avoid that cart. Let me see, 2 more, 3 more tricks, 3 more, 4 more. I think 4 more tricks in the game. So the next one is this giant area. You can use the mini-map to kind of cheat your way through it a little bit. And it's something neat. Most of the time you don't know what's happening, so you know you're here and you're like, where is this map going? Maybe the map is going this way, maybe it's going this way, maybe it's going up, maybe I don't know where it's going, and you're completely lost and confused. So the mini map is actually going to be helpful here. So see, there's nothing yet. Once I just dash straight out into the center and hope I can see the glowing yellow mark. If I don't go in a direction, great, yellow mark. Still don't see anything. Still don't see anything. Still don't see anything. The moment I click this, there's about a 5-second delay between when I click this and the door becomes targetable. During those 5 seconds, this whole map will light up. So quickly hit it, look at the map, and see what's spawning where. And then click the door and start going. So you're going to be looking for 2 guide stones, since you just hit number 1, and there are 4 total. Actually, could this be the correct way to go? Wave passage? That is weird. Maybe they're just, I don't know, did I just uncover something? Did my game bug out? Is wave passage the correct way to go? No, it's not. Okay, so it was just trolling me. So that is a technique you can use. Once you hit the guide stone, look at your mini-map to say, hey, I kind of know how this map is going to spawn before I even get into the map. Very helpful to do. Corvus. So we're at another map that has a square. So Act 1 we had Cathedral 4, Act 2 we had Vault the Assassin, Act 3 we got more stuff, Act 5 we got squares all over the place. So this is an event tile. Usually it's not at, well, it can't be at the locked part of the event tile. So already we know that the correct place to go is not here. So that's a no-go. So this could have been a very small square, but it's unlikely. This is not going this way. This might, no, because this locks that way. Okay, so the only way to go was there. It's possible the map could have gone over in this direction. It's also possible that no square spawned. I've had that a few times. But you're looking for a kind of squarish formation, and you want to once again exit the square. So here we've got another tile. We can go left or right. So is it going to curve upright? And it looks like it may. Yeah. So the square is likely here. So you want to try and exit this square when possible. So you're going to be looking, in this case, I'm instantly going to be aiming down right. And if it's not there, you know, just keep exiting the square whenever you can. Because obviously, it's never within the square. The square is there to waste your time. No, it's there to guide you to say, hey, exit me, and you'll find your exit. So now it's actually looping back around and trolling me hard because there's another square. So look at that. It's 2 squares combined. Woohoo! Alright, so which square are we going to exit today? We're going to go to the right. And there we go. We exited the square. So here was the second square. Here was... Wait, no. So here was the first square. Kind of like here was the second rectangle, or maybe it was up here. Anyway, you want to exit the square when possible. Easy stuff. One more game-ending bug that I'm aware of. And just 2 more maps. So yeah, Lorath always spawns like right here-ish. So just spam click is when Adria's dying, and hopefully he'll hit him before he runs off. So far I've only been successful on causing 1 game-breaking bug. So to me that's kind of a not very good run, because I wanted to try and demonstrate as many as possible. Oh right, there is 2 game-ending bugs. So here, I've only ever happened once. For all I know, it could have been patched. But Imperius normally has to leave. And if he doesn't leave, then he never spawns. It says find Imperius. I think that's because the map trolls around, so it comes this way, and then it comes up. So I think that's why it says find Imperius, because Imperius is right there. Actually, did I actually get... I think I might have caused... Maybe I caused it this time? Yes! I got the game-ending bug! Alright! We got number 2. So if you dash past Imperius too quickly, he does not despawn. And then the event mobs come up, but nothing happens. And you brick your run, and there you go. You got to restart Sprinter from scratch. Not very fun. And believe it or not, there's one more game-ending bug to discuss once after this. So when you're dashing past, don't dash past Imperius too fast. Stick around for a second, make sure that he takes off into the air, and then come forward here. So yes, alright, I got 2 game-ending bugs, and I don't know if I can cause 1 more here. So it looks like they haven't patched it. That bug is still around. Alright, to me that's more successful. I have been able to break the game a number of times. Not just in theory, I'm physically showing it. Alright, where are we? Hopefully talking with Imperius and not breaking the universe today. So stick around for a little bit, and there he goes. Now he's taken off, so now the game-ending bug has been avoided. So now you can just sit here, AFK. You can take a look at this guide and say, oh, look at that. Once you get past Act 3, there's no other information in the game. But yeah, this stuff's a dime a dozen. Very easy to find that kind of stuff online. So that's why I'm making this guide, to showcase bugs and glitches to avoid, to showcase how to predict a lot of map tiles. So what are some things I want to miss? Or what things I have missed that I want to cover? So yeah, there's one more game-ending bug. Again, I don't think I can hit it because it's only happened once, and I don't know how it happened, but it did. Right here, you notice when you kill this boss, this siege rune spawns. You have to pick it up for the events to proceed. In the next area, there are 2 bosses, Korcharath, and another boss chosen at random based on the tile set. So you have to kill both bosses and pick up their siege runes. I have had a run where we killed a boss and the siege rune did not spawn. So that is the last game-ending bug. I don't know how it happened. It only happened once ever. Actually, it happened twice. It happened 1 or 2 runs ago, and I'm sure I put it online. If you go to my channel, well, you're already here. That's probably why you're watching this video. But one of the siege runes physically did not spawn. I did not click it, and yet, see right here it spawns. And then once you click it, then you get to 1 out of 2. it didn't spawn, yet the event proceeded as normal, and the game continued. So it looked like, right here is the correct way to go, so we'll come back there. So it looked like the run was over, but it wasn't. Here's Fortroth. And I don't know how it happened, but sometimes these siege rooms don't spawn. And I'm guessing they might have just patched it or something. Maybe they didn't patch it and I just got lucky. And then you got the ram. So last is Pando Fortress 1 and Pando Fortress 2. So Fortress 1, let's just, it's not really much for a map here. When you come out of Fortress 1, it kind of goes up right, and then, or sorry, up, down right, and then around in a tile here, kind of as a curve, and then you take your first portal to somewhere over here. So once we get past those portals, say the portal is here, the map can go in 3 directions. So the map can go kind of up left, up right, and down right. And it kind of goes in a big rectangle or square. So let me try and demonstrate. It can kind of, that was very bad. Kind of go maybe something like that, maybe something like this, maybe something like this, maybe something like this. So it has a number of kind of rectangular shapes to it. And then there's the Nightmare Pando one, which I absolutely hate. So if you have your portal here, the map can actually run back around and then sometimes exit that way, or the map can sometimes wrap around and exit out that way. So those are what I call the nightmare maps because it doesn't happen very often, and when it does, it always throws me for a loop. At this point, there are no more game-ending bugs, but that Pando Fortress 1 has caused me to just barely miss like certain records or certain things I was aiming for at times. Like, hey, I'm going to hit a 48 run for the X time in a row, and I end up getting 48:02 because I got a 50-second Pando 1 or something. I literally search everywhere, and it's messing me up. And then Pando Fortress 2, it's very, very easy. So easy I don't need to really draw a map for it. So once we talk with this person, portals spawn, and here we go. So let's start up left, and it's going to kind of curve. Now that we've got a little bit of the map, it's going to go kind of this way. In this case, you do not want to exit because the way to go typically is toward one of the obvious directions. So when you're on this tile, you can actually nearly see the exit. When you're on this tile, you can nearly see the exit, and you can nearly see the exit. So there's no real reason to break pattern and exit the square in this case, because the tiles are so big that you can pretty much see them. So here, let's go back around this way, and then, so now we've hit the map length, and this is not the correct way to go. So it's an event tile. So now we have this last tile. So if you're not familiar, we've been talking about map length. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. This tile kind of moves like this, and then comes around here, and then the exit's going to be right here. So we have like a map length of 5 tiles, maybe 4 tiles. That's enough to hit what we need. So actually it wasn't, and then this is the correct exit. It went a slightly different way. I messed up this tile, but yeah, we hit 6 tiles, and it's almost always like 5 to 7. It's a pretty consistent map. Here, kill this, kill that, and then the correct place to go. Oh, it actually shows it when I look at the mini map, but you always need to go down left. So as soon as you can, turn down left. Sometimes you have to go down left, and you have to go down left some more, because the map is going in these directions. Always keep going down left until you hit these portals. Maybe if you're... I gotta take a look at that, but maybe the first portal automatically spawns when you're using the minimap, and that'll definitely help you. I'll have to check that out. Maybe the portal spawn. That'll save me some headache, so I know kind of how far I'm looking. All right, and that is Sprinter and Speed Racer. So, again, a lot of that information you won't really find in many guides. Game-ending bugs, how tile sets spawn. So here's spam spacebar. I'm just leaving it alone for a second to talk. But if you're ever confused about something, I run Sprinter groups a lot. You can always message me, and I can try and answer some of your questions in game. So, send me a friend request. I'm always talking in the conquests channels and power leveling channels. Even though I don't do 1 to 70 power levels, I do like greater rift runs and puzzle runs and stuff. So yeah, Malphite always drops a guaranteed legendary. And that is it. So there's not much to the game in terms of advanced, like, super special tricks and techniques. It's more just knowing how the tile sets spawn, knowing how the maps spawn, and sometimes getting used to a weird teleport in certain static locations. So hopefully this guide has helped you. Again, most of this is not necessary to obtain Sprinter in under an hour, but if you are struggling by constantly getting an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes solo, hopefully learning some of these maps will cut down your time enough to get it under that hour solo. If not, run with a group. It's faster. A lot of places in the games, like Act 2, you're looking for both Vault the Assassin and Cave of the Betrayer. So you can have 2 people going at the same time. Act 1, you're looking for the crypts. There's 3 crypts. So as soon as somebody enters the crypts, just have them, a couple people port and look around various crypts, things like that. Group is always faster. So the world solo record was under 39:52 last time I checked. It's probably been beaten since it's been so long. And group record has been under 36 minutes, which likely is down to close to 32-ish, my guess. So 39 solo, 32 group. Definitely do a group. And if not, just ask around. My clan is, I'm the only person, and my name is Sprint. So if you're interested in running, obviously, if there's a group that's out there that's better than my clan, I'll join them. If you're interested in joining Sprint, just let me know. So thanks again for watching. I can try and answer any questions you guys have. I am relatively active this season, but it's been a while for me, so I'm usually just on at night. So everyone, good luck in your runs, enjoy the season, and have a good day.